Whew. How you doing?
Fun and you. What are you laughing at?
You said that so charged up, excited. How's Namibia?
How was Namibia?
Mm.
It was good, actually. Namibia is always good. Love going to Namibia.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yesterday, you got back from Namibia on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yesterday, did on Top in your Hangouts.
Yes.
Really, really awesome. Our weekly breakfast that we host. Monthly, sorry.
A monthly breakfast.
People are going to rock up at Fat Ginger on a Thursday. Hoping for a breakfast.
Our once a month entrepreneurial business breakfast.
Yes, yes. Next one on the 11th of September.
Yeah.
We are 9 months in.
Yeah.
Done 9. Pretty cool.
9.
But yesterday, you spoke about something interesting. You spoke about teams.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, because maybe especially for our viewers, which are a lot of them based in America, they weren't there. So I wanted to talk about teams a little bit on today's episode. But more so, I wanted to talk about this thing called culture, company cultures. So I got some stats for you. It says 35 to 45% of companies have clearly defined values.
Yeah.
And what that means for employees who can't even articulate them. 40 to 50% of employees remain unclear on company policies.
Yeah.
She's still
It doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't have put it that low.
35 to 45% of South African companies have formally defined company values that are actively communicating.
Okay.
Yes, yet hardly half of those employees can communicate clearly.
Yeah.
Company values.
Actively communicating to their customers.
No, it's company values.
Yeah.
To the employees don't know how to articulate. Half the employees don't know how to articulate.
Yeah. So my question is the company has values?
Yeah.
Do they have values that are articulated to the employees of the company, or do they have values so they sound nice to the clients?
No, you're the one who works with a lot of businesses. What do you think?
So I think
what have you seen? I mean, let me put it that way.
Well, one of the things that I see fairly regularly, or that I have observed, is that values become a marketing tool.
Yeah.
So to start off with, people do a values exercise. They bring in some marketing people, do a nice wordsmith exercise around what are the values that really sound good and would resonate with our clients, and they come up with these, 5 or 6 value words, and then they tell their staff that these are our values. It's great, but what are their values? Why do they have them? Where do they come from? How do they embody who the business is? Who the business is, not what the business does.
Yeah.
Who the business is. So, and I got this, from the book Legacy. There's a wonderful little piece in there that says values determine character and character determines value.
Say it again.
Values create character and character creates value. So think about this. Connect with people in your life who add value to you. The value that they add in your life, or the value that they take away from your life, will depend on the values that they have in their lives, which determines their character. So if that's true for an individual, well, it's true for a business. What's the character of that business? When you meet people in that business, what's the character? In our world, who are they being? Not what are they doing, who are they being? And that for me that's the epitome of culture. It's creating who we need to be.
Got you.
Who do we expect to be? How do you, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's values and character. They're not things that you put on the wall that sound good, look good, and no one lives there.
Yeah.
They're things that you live. If they're on the wall, great. If they're not on the wall, well, it doesn't really matter, as long as people can articulate them, live them, and understand what they mean.
Yeah. So how important, especially when it comes to like values, is it so as a business owner, we're talking about small business owners, we're not talking about massive companies, but as a business owner, should I get my team to work together to get to the values, or should I create the values and then communicate it to them?
Okay, so let's take our business.
Yeah.
Which values do you play by? Yours or mine?
the businesses.
Yeah, but where did those values come from?
From you.
They came from me.
Yeah.
Because I started this business. It was me on my ass, me by myself.
Yeah.
And I have a set of values that are true to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So with that, as people came into the team, I shared with them my values for my business.
Yeah.
If you connect with my values, then you stay. If you don't, you'll leave. Over time, as you and other members of the team have stayed in the team, and we've re-looked at some of those values, we've made slight tweaks, but nothing major. I mean, our values being real. That's been a value of mine right from the time I started this business.
Yeah.
Is I believe in being real. I detest fake. I don't want fake people. I don't want fake people around me. None of the people in our team are fake.
Yeah.
So, and we're driven on that. That value came from me. Honesty, but total honesty. That used to say brutal honesty. And then Nicole and some of the members of the team, like you, challenged me and said, "What does brutal mean?" And I was like, "Oh, brutal is sort of strong." And then we went to the dictionary, and it definitely wasn't. I didn't resonate with the dictionary terminology of brutal, so we changed it to total honesty.
Yeah.
Because we want to be honest. Total honesty in what we do. We stuff up, we're honest. We do well, we're honest. We don't do it, we're honest. You know, be in exchange. That's from the time I learnt that word exchange from Blair Singer 19 years ago. That was in my values. I believe in being in exchange. I believe in sowing and reaping. I believe in creating some balance between people. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are three of our values, and where did they come from? They originally came from me.
Yep.
So to answer your question, as a small to medium-sized business owner, the value should represent the leader.
Okay.
Because that's the leader. If everybody quit the business, who's still going to be in the business?
The leader.
The leader. And the leader's going to have to get more people to come into the business. So the value should represent the leader. And a lot of leaders are not really clear on what their values are. So because they lack clarity on their values, they don't have a set of values that they can communicate to the team.
Yeah.
This is who I am. So if you want to play with me in this game, you need to be able to understand this is who I am, this is how I expect us to play, and this is how I expect you to play. Now you take the values and then you couple them with what we teach as a code of honor.
Yep.
You know, code of honor supports your values.
Okay. So is the code of honor? So the code of honor is let's call it the umbrella.
Code of honor is the set of behavioral rules that determines how you behave.
Okay.
We honor all agreements. We're on time. We live above the line and take responsibility. No excuses. You know, all the 10, 11, 12 key rules that embody how we behave. But the values should represent the code of honor, and the code of honor should represent the values. Because if you have a set of rules that counter to your values, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, so if your value is total honesty, and one of your rules in your code of honor is do whatever it takes to win. Well, that also may mean do whatever it takes to win unethically, illegally. Well, then you're not being totally honest. So if you're being totally honest, your code of honor should state do whatever it takes to win legally, ethically, and morally, because that would represent total honesty.
And it's important to be very clear on things like that, right? It sounds like such a simple thing, but it's actually like do whatever it takes to win.
Okay, so
stop there.
So in your life, is life precious?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if life is precious, not only your life but other people's lives, human life is precious. Yes. Would you kill anyone?
No.
Never. Oh. So a categoric no to suddenly like, well.
You see that? I'm gonna say it depends.
Okay, so if someone was threatening your wife,
Nah.
would you
If
say?
I have, yes, I would.
Okay, you get it.
Yeah.
So I will never kill anyone, or I will not murder anyone, or murder is with intent.
Yeah.
So not murder, but I will not kill anyone. Well, you went from a categoric no to a well, maybe. Okay. Mahatma Gandhi had a categoric no. Never ever. That was his value. So if you and Mahatma Gandhi agreed on a set of values that we don't kill, and and you were in the middle of, I don't know, some police coming at you, and I don't know, your wife was with you, and you had to stand in front of the policeman and kill the policeman, you would. It would be against Mahatma Gandhi's value.
Yeah.
Same word. Different understanding, different breadth, depth of that word. So when you spend time, does that make sense?
Great example.
But when you spend time understanding that, then in order to articulate to your team, because it's a word doesn't mean everyone understands it the same way.
Yeah.
You know, so you be very clear on the definition, and you be very clear on this is what it means, and this is what we all understand it to mean.
Yeah, I got you.
So the understanding is the same, and that's why that percentage of people not being able to articulate it is because what I've observed is people think, well, it's obvious. It's obvious that's what it means.
Of course it means that, yeah.
It's obvious to you what it means, but what does it mean to everybody else? And you've seen in any of our training programs, in any of the seminars that we do, when I'm working on values, code of honor, and context, I'll ask, what does honesty mean, or what does discipline mean? And we'll get 5, 6, 7 different, you know, my favorite, same, but different. It's same, but different. Okay, good. Well, when it's the same, that's okay. But when it's different, that creates confront and conflict. So spend the time getting absolute clarity around those values. And what do they really mean? You know.
So let's just say I'm watching this, I'm a business owner, I have a small team. I don't have values. I don't have anything written down.
Yeah.
What are my first steps? What first steps should I take to putting that into play?
Well, I mean, there's lots of ways you can learn how to put in values. You know, I run a values exercise.
Okay.
Where I sit down with the business owner, I sit down with the business owner and the team, depending on what stage I do it. I mean, sometimes when I go into a business and there aren't any clear values in that business, then the leadership team does it, no longer just the owner, because the owner now has a vested team.
Okay.
Okay, but those values must still represent the values of the owner, otherwise there will be incongruency. So you sit down and you talk about what's important to us. What does honesty mean? What does integrity mean? What does, you know, what does discipline mean in our world? What does be real mean? One of our values is teachability. What does teachability mean? Another one of our values is discipline. What does discipline mean?
Yeah, well.
You know, so be very clear on those things, and you come up with this set of values, and you start living them, and you start talking about them, but they should embody who you are.
Yeah.
You know, they in order to do that, part of the process is understanding who you are. What makes you tick? You are who you are. So what makes you tick? What are the things you want to see, don't want to see? How do you want people to operate? You know?
So this is an interesting stack, because we're talking about values, and then you had mentioned your values need to tie into your code of honor.
Yeah.
It says here around 25 to 30% of businesses have a document code of honor.
Code of honor.
Ethics code.
Code of honor or code of conduct.
Well, it says code of honor, but then
Okay.
it also says ethics code.
Okay, so code of ethics.
See, so those two things are different
Well, so
in your world.
again, in my world, they are different things. A code of honor. So my determination of a code of honor comes out of the book Team Code of Honor by Blair Singer.
Okay.
It's not a code of what the Code of Honor says in the dictionary. It is the process that I learned 19 years ago from Blair Singer, which is a code of honor. It's like a code is a set of rules that we live by in order to uphold our honor and other people's honor. So what a code of honor is in our context is it is a set of behavioral rules, how we behave.
Yeah.
It's not a code of conduct. A code of conduct is when we go to an event, we go the night before, if for example, for our 5-day event, and everyone in the team must be prepared to stay for 5 nights, yes?
Yes.
We have, 21 days leave a year. We wear company clothing. Right? So those are all the rules in how we conduct ourselves, operational rules. Okay, and then there's the code of honor. And those will connect to ethics and how we expect people to ethically behave.
Yeah.
You know, how you expect people to ethically behave. And it depends on It depends on your ethics. You know, what are your ethics? So, but in our determination and what we work with in businesses, and that comes out of Blair Singer's teaching, is developing a code of honor, a set of rules that governs how we behave.
All right, so I just asked our faithful friend ChatGPT the difference between the two. It says a key difference in plain English. Code of honor equals this is how we choose to treat each other. Code of ethics, this is the minimum standard we must meet to be ethical and compliant.
Okay, so code of ethics is
Yeah.
it is and that'll link into corporate governance and all that sort of stuff. A code of honor is behavior there. So
Yeah,
it's
how we
behavior,
treat each other.
how we expect to behave.
Yeah.
You know, how do we expect to behave? We have a meeting every Monday morning. If you haven't done your to-dos, you put up your hand and you say, I didn't do it. You don't say, well, you know, last week I was traveling and I was really busy, because our code says no excuses.
Yep.
So the team can say, Barry,
Take responsibility.
take responsibility.
No, definitely.
Does that make sense? So it's the way, and you create clarity around that. In my experience, and I think your stats say that 70% of businesses don't have that.
Yeah. No, it's 70%. So
they're
25 to 30%.
They're focused on, because they get focused on what we're doing. The problem is it's in the doing that you need to have the behaviors.
Because I mean, so for example, like you had mentioned yesterday that we're gonna have somebody new joining our team.
Yes.
One of the first things they're gonna get is
The code of honor. They've already got it.
oh, they've got it already.
Yeah. So
Before they even start.
yeah. So when we interview someone,
Okay.
yeah. So when we interview someone, the first thing we always talk to them about is, here's our values and our code of honor. What do you think? Tell us about it. We ask them questions around it. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand these type of things?
So that's like even before a contract, before anything is discussed.
100%.
Okay.
Because if you can't buy into the values, well, then you're not going to fit in the team.
So do you think that you can pick up when somebody's like, so because we live in a country where the unemployment rate just keeps running away with itself, people are going to just say, yes, I agree to these values, and yes, I agree to this code of honor. Can you pick up when?
So I don't ask them if you agree.
Okay.
I ask them, explain to me what you understand by this.
Okay.
How do you think that would apply in the job you're coming in? How do you think that would apply to you? Where do you think that would see? You know, if Suli didn't do what he said he was going to do, how would you apply that? What would you do? So I want to see their mindset and their attitude towards that. What do these values mean to you? You know, I would ask questions like, you know, if you're a salesperson and you went on a sales call, and you had to pretend to be someone else, could you do it?
No.
Well, some people would say, yeah, well, you know, you act that way, da 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 da. Well, okay, and would you be prepared to do it? Well, if they say no, I'd go, why not? If they say yes, I'm like, okay, they're probably the wrong type of person for us, because that's not who we are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. They would go against being real. They would go against being the authentic you. So it becomes a gauge.
Okay.
But so once people come into the business and they're in their process of probation, then you need to observe how they behave.
Got you.
So that's why if someone joins us in sales, well, for the very first week at least, they're going to have to, for example, make X amount of phone calls a day, or they have to go knock on doors and collect business cards. What I want to see is, can they do what they say they're going to do? Okay, that's all I want. I want to see how they behave. Because at the end of the week, if they come back and I say, did you collect your 20 business cards a day? Did you go knock on doors? Did you do this? And they give me excuses and all that, they're the wrong person.
Now laughing because I'm 10 years in, and only now did I realize that that's what you would need to be when I first started the first year. You're seeing how I would behave
100%.
Not doing social.
Yeah.
With not posting and putting things out and things like that, because that was what I was doing already.
Correct.
But you were like, no, you're not doing that. So you were like, you were basically trying to see if I could behave in a way that I could, one, have the discipline of not posting anything, and just creating and understanding.
So I wanted to see if you're teachable. I wanted to see if you were prepared to submit and understand who we are first before you go and do what you are technically driven to do. which you weren't technically driven to do anyway.
That's it.
Does that make sense? Because typically I would have hired you and gone, Sully, you come in, be my social media guy, do post and everything, and you would have ended up doing your own stuff, trying to convince me why what I was doing wasn't going to work, and you had a, where I was like, that's not what I want, this is who we are. Now, the message that I want needs to reflect me. If it doesn't reflect me, then don't do it.
Yeah.
So part of that is going through that teachability, the ability to serve. I mean, serving.
Yeah.
Serving is number 6. We're a serving business. Are you prepared to come in? Were you prepared to come in for 6 months, serve what I do? Come to all the events, take notes, understand me.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't, well, you're not going to fit in.
No, definitely.
Because we're a serving business.
Yeah. You know, for me, I think that especially with that was an interesting one. And I think I've been thinking about it more and more because we really started to unpack it more. I realized the power of it today because I can now put out content and nobody can tell the difference between you and I, if it's you speaking or if it's me speaking, in terms of the copy.
Because our culture, I believe our culture is very strong. And you are part of the culture. And you understand the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you understand, we are who we are, and we have the context we have, and we do things the way we do, and we have the mindset that we have, and we conduct ourselves in the way.
We're a pretty simple bunch. We're not very complicated.
100%.
Which is amazing.
So if you look at our whole team, they all fit into that. So anyone else who's going to join our team needs to fit into that. If they don't, then they're not going to fit in. They're not bad people. They're not bad people. They just don't fit in. And if they don't fit in, it's going to be a tough place to operate.
Yeah.
You know,
You've seen it.
yeah. So, over the years, and, previously, it largely because we probably weren't as clear as we could have been on our expectations. The more clearer we've become on who we are, the more clearer we become on who we're looking for.
Yeah.
And so the first step is create clarity in your context. Who are you looking for? What behaviors do you expect? What type of mindsets do you expect? You can teach skill.
Yeah.
So, and if you get the right behaviors and mindsets, then, I don't know, 70% of the problem with people is already overcome. Because you have the right person.
Yeah.
Then you can work on the skills. And so I think I think that is a critical component to what we do.
And another thing, it's not one of our values, but I think we speak about it a lot, is have fun. You know what I mean? If you can't have fun on this team, you will struggle. If you're going to be a very serious person, you take everything seriously, you'll struggle because that's just a part of it.
Why is it not in our values? Because for me, you're only allowed 7 values. Well, otherwise you end up writing 8, 9,
Now,
and it goes.
and then it's
beyond.
confusing.
Reality is 6 or 7 is key because those are. And when I do a values exercise, that's what we do. So fun is we have fun.
Yeah.
We have fun, but fun wasn't as high on the value list as serve first or serving. Wasn't as high on the value list as discipline.
Yeah, learning and
does that make sense? Or as learning and be teachable. So somewhere, but so you want, but that's also our culture. We're often telling jokes and, we do. We rip each other off and you do something stupid, you'll know about it.
We will know about it for a while.
Give me a bone and I'll churn it for the next 6 months.
Oof.
And if you can't fit into that culture, you're not going to fit in here. If you take offense with, some of the shit you and I say, and that's the new guy that's joining us. I told him, I said, if you take offense, you're not going to fit into this team.
Yeah.
Because we tell jokes and we talk shit but we come from the right place. And if you don't understand where we're coming from, you could accuse us of doing a whole lot of stuff.
Yep. You take some left.
And that's not who we are.
100%.
So you better understand that. And we had a discussion around that. So there's no, look at, you guys did that. It's like, but in our interview, I told you, and in our code of honor, it says, does that make sense? Otherwise, you create a whole, Wolf of Wall Street is a wonderful example of code of honor, written or unwritten. It was probably unwritten, but the culture of who they were.
Yeah.
And, a great part in that movie was when the one guy who was a great performer but didn't fit in because, you know, he wouldn't drink with them and he didn't sniff coke and
they chased all that sauces.
well, no, they didn't chase. They fed in the goldfish.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So the whole team got around and cussed him. For, not a nice scene, but the reality is he just good at his job, but he didn't fit in. And that guy, if he didn't fit in, would have brought the whole organization down over time.
Yeah.
You know, so there's the idea of the culture you create. I think a lot of businesses and a lot of people talk about it, write it, stick it up on walls, but don't live it.
And something like that works the same, right? Because you bring up Wolf of Wall Street. So you can have the positive and the negative of a company culture, right?
100%.
If our company culture is that we lie, we cheat, we steal, if you want to be an honest person, you're not going to fit in here. What we do, this is what we do here.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say to you, Sully, why did you close the deal? The guy wanted a backhander. Why the friggin' heck didn't you let him a backhander? I don't do that sort of shit. Dude,
That's what we do.
go close the friggin' deal. There's the brown envelope. Now go close the friggin' deal. Well, if it's against your morals, your ethics, your values, what are you going to say?
No.
Yeah, but then you're going to complain and try to tell us that we must change our ways. No, get out of the business.
Yeah.
That's their culture.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now someone's going to say we pass brown envelopes.
We don't have brown envelopes.
But again, it's that's not our culture. That's not who we are. So, and likewise, if you came to me and said, "Hey Barry, I've just done a deal, but I need to tell you that I had to I had to do a little sneaky thing on the side, and I paid for the guy to go to the Berg for the weekend." What do you think I would do?
You could fire me.
I'd ask you to leave the business. Yeah, it's against our culture. I don't need money that bad to have to do those things.
So if something like that happens once, it's going to happen again, and eventually
Correct.
it's going to topple the business.
Well, now we get a new person in, and you now say to that guy, "Yeah, last time I did it, Barry doesn't like it, but I tell you what, just do that. You'll close the deal and make some commission." And suddenly, what happens is now the core of the team is now
the culture.
and it becomes a culture, and you lose. And then eventually, if that's the culture, it'll attract, because of exchange, it'll attract the results that it's going to attract, whatever that is. So
this one was also an interesting one. Rules and policies.
Yeah.
So it says most mid to large businesses, so bigger than 50 employees, have standard rules covering attendance, conduct, and
so that's code of conduct. Yeah, that's what we talked about. Operational rules, code of conduct. Yeah.
yeah. But smaller SMEs often operate informally with unwritten rules.
Yes.
Surveys show that 40 to 50% of employees are unclear about the company's formal policies, leading to inconsistencies and misunderstandings.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons for that.
Okay, what's that?
Well, one, people want a job, so they look at the bottom line and then sign the paper.
They just agree to.
Well, you get a job description with all the rules.
Yeah.
How many people actually sit down and read all that stuff? So they go through it. Why? Because for many people, they want to look at the bottom line. Oh, I've got a job.
Yes.
I've been looking for a job. I got a job. I'm not going to argue about this stuff because I want the pay. So I'll agree to it. And people say, "Do you agree? Do you understand?" Yes, I agree and understand. And then they get into it. So that's one of the problems first up. And what I've seen is at times we are not deliberate to actually ask, "Do you understand that? Have you read it? Explain that paragraph to me. Tell me how that would mean. What would happen in this?
Yeah.
Do you understand that?"
I agree with that.
So and I've done that in my businesses over the year. I've been clear. I've like, "Did you read the job description? Do you understand?" Yeah. Okay, good. You're joining us. Oh, and then I don't know, next week, 6 months later, but you're contributing that. What? But in your job description, I didn't read that. I didn't agree to that. Yes, you did. So does that make sense? So I think it's a deliberateness on all parties to be very clear that there's full understanding and full explanation. And don't tell people that's what it is. Ask people. I think there's the other mistake. If I sit down with you and I say, "Sully, I'm going to tell you my code of honor. Do you understand it?" What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to ask you, "Sully, explain that rule to me. What do you understand it means? Where would it apply?" You see, that takes patience. And I think that's where a lot of those things don't come through, because people are like, "I had this piece of paper. I never really read it, or no one really explained it to me. But I signed it." I mean, how many times have you bought stuff online and it goes, "Read the T's and C's," and you go,
Oh, yeah.
"Ah, shit, 47 pages. Nah, Sat, I want the mic, so I'm just going to slim it.
Doing this. Just agree. I agree. And it goes through. Yes, I got my thing.
And then
The mic explodes.
2 months later, something happens to the mic, and you go, I want to send it back, and it goes, on clause 173.47.1.2, it says, we do not take returns.
You expected me to read 47 pages. Yeah, I did. Because
So-
you want it if you want to stick.
So again, I think that's also an example, is sometimes the contracts are so long-winded that people don't want to read them. You know, so I've got to the stage where I want to make sure that the core essentials are in there. The core essentials of what is required to be done, who's required to be, so that, and it's simple, you know, less than 4 pages, you know, sort of 4 or 5 pages sort of thing. Otherwise it just becomes a mess. So yeah, I think, and all this is creating and building your culture, you know, and it's all very well getting agreement to, but the next problem a lot now comes in. So you bring in a new person, they agree, they read it, they understood it. Now what? Now you have to hold them what?
Accountable.
100%. Now's the hard part.
Tough part.
Because if all very well got the right person, the right guy, the right woman, join the business, whatever, and excited, and then you get them in week 1 and they don't uphold what they should be doing. Well, now what are you going to do? Well, we'll let them off, give them a chance. And then next week, okay, they knew. At the end, we hide away from it and don't confront it. And suddenly they've gone past their probation period and now they're into the business and you're all upset with them. And it becomes, in simple terms, a shit show.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, you know, right up front when someone doesn't work out or doesn't fit in or is not part of it, you need to let them go. And just the same as when someone is working out, you need to hold on to them. You know, some of the best advice I had from one of my clients, I said to him, you know, what's one of the best things you've learned? He said, one of the best things I've learned, biggest lessons I've learned in business, is when you find the right people, do whatever you can to keep them. And when you find the wrong people, now not the words wrong people, not bad people, when you find the wrong people who don't fit into your business, don't fit into your culture, don't connect with who you are, you have to move them on quickly. Because, you know, I mean, Suri, if you don't drink,
Yeah.
and take this in the family scenario, so you don't drink, but you go around to your brother-in-law's house and they all drink, and you keep going around there, and you get in the car and you say to your wife, I hate going around there because they all drink. Well, stop going around there.
Yeah.
But then you say, no, but I have to go there. No, you don't have to go there. You can be big enough to stand up with your wife and say, honestly, when we go, I don't mind family gatherings when this happens or that happens. But when I go around there and everyone's getting dorked and, you know, I don't like drinking or I don't drink or I don't want to be there because I have no enjoyment in it.
Yeah.
Why go there? So, you know, for me, that's the deal, is when you get clear on what happens, make a choice. You don't have to be part of that team. And, you know, the amount of times I hear people say, but I have to because I need the job. No, you need a job.
Right.
You need a form of income. But why be in a place where you don't fit in and you're miserable? Go find the team that you're going to connect with and you're going to excel with. The problem is a lot of businesses are not clear on who they are.
And I think
They're clear on what they do, not who they are. And then you get a whole mix of different people doing stuff, but being different people.
yeah. And I think for me, I would like just to speak on it from like an employee perspective, because I feel like that's something that irritates me is when people blame the leaders. No, it's their fault that I don't fit in. Or it's this, and I'm like, yeah, but how is it their fault that you don't fit in? You don't get their values or you don't get their code of honor. That's not their fault. It's nobody's fault actually. Nobody's to blame for it. It just is what it is.
Well, either fit in.
If you can.
Well, so at times make a decision. If you want to stay there, fit in. If you don't want to fit in, you fit out.
Yeah, own your choices.
Correct.
Just own the choices you make.
Because what happens is that creates huge competition within a business, huge animosity, huge conflict, because especially in today's world, I don't like what you do, so you must all change to suit me. No,
Yeah.
go play somewhere else, man. You know, it's
okay.
So you take it to a sports analogy. It's like we play hockey.
Yeah.
So a guy comes across and he goes, I want to play with you guys, but I play rugby, so we must play rugby. No,
Rugby for the
there's rugby, but they go play with those ropes. No, but I want to play here. You guys asked me to play here, but I don't really want to play with. I mean, it's an extreme example, obviously, but
That's what happens.
that's what happens.
Yeah.
I want to play here because I want what you can give me,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be and do
What you do.
what you expect me to do. So a lot of these problems in culture is there's a lack of clarity.
Yeah.
There's a lack of clarity in context. And over the years, I mean, context is one of the most powerful things I teach. It's one of the most powerful things I've learned from Blair Singer. The more clarity you get in context, the stronger your team becomes over time. And the more clarity you get in who's going to fit in and who's not, and how you operate forward. You look at any great Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
What was his strength?
Context.
Very clear, and he created very tight context, very tight culture, and you either fitted into that culture or you didn't. And if you didn't fit in, he flew you off.
I mean, it's simple things, right? So, like, for example, they they had this thing called the hairdryer treatments at United back in the day.
Yeah.
And it basically happened because there was a hairdryer that Alex Ferguson kicked, and it hit Beckham. And that's what it became. But it was because of that. Beckham wanted to be Beckham.
Yeah.
Superstar guy, flashy, Spain, all of that. And Alex was like, you're not going to do that here.
No, because that's
You
not
can
good.
do that there.
Correct.
And he let him go. And it was so...
He encouraged him to go.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Did the same thing with Cantona. Did the same
Yes.
thing with Ronaldo. He's done it with... I feel like, I mean, having watched soccer for so long, I have never seen a manager do that so often with superstars. Like superstars.
When you don't fit in,
Go. And it's okay. We will
Yes.
keep going. And he did. He
and we'll
kept on
stay,
going.
and we'll stay successful.
Stayed successful till
Because context and culture is way more important than the individual.
I cannot believe I'm praising Manchester United right now. It's the
Well-
weirdest thing in the world. But in terms of context,
You're not actually, you're praising Alex Ferguson.
I'm praising as Alex Ferguson. And it's the same as, like, I mean, 3 or 4 UGEs ago, you were reading Legacy, the book, the
Yeah,
All Blacks book.
Yeah.
And then I jumped onto it. And I was like, what am I reading? Because this is golden. Because everything about the All Blacks is just culture.
Yeah.
It's has zero to do with talent.
Rugby is what they do.
Yeah.
Well, yes, there's talent.
Yes, no,
But the talent has to fit into the culture.
yeah.
The talent has to fit into the culture. The same in business. Yes, there's talent. You want to attract the most talented people who fit into your culture,
Yeah.
not the most talented people. Because the most talented people who don't fit into your culture often become the biggest problems.
I mean, if you look at, like, with New Zealand, if you remember Sonny Bill Williams,
Yeah.
what a flippin' gifted rugby player. He just didn't fit into the culture.
Well, it's because he went to the box.
You know, we played rugby, dude. Okay, this one here is, and I want to get your take on this. So it says, only about 60% of leaders actively model the values and ethical standards they expect, which weakens employee adoption.
Well, Sunni, children do what their parents do.
Yes.
They don't do what their parents tell them to do. They do what they do. So what's the difference in business?
Good question.
Well, I think it's one of the biggest problems in business. It's one of the biggest problems in organizations is people think because they get to a level of status, authority, or position that the rules don't apply to them anymore. You can look through that through all areas of life, in countries, in all through, not only in business. But I know in a position, you must do what I tell you, but I'm going to do something different. No, my belief is this: the higher you get in an organization, the more you have a responsibility to uphold the rules and the culture than anybody else. Why? Because a fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
A fish rots from the head. You can see it in countries.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of my beefs in many countries is we have to obey the traffic rules. We pay taxes. We drive on the roads. We obey the traffic rules 120 kilometers on a highway. But someone has a position of authority and they need to get to the airport.
Yep.
So now they can do 180 and travel and get everyone out of the way. Why? What? Because I'm now in a position of, well, why is that person more important than a CEO of a business that employs 500 people?
Yeah.
No,
That is a
why,
big
what
question.
gives that person the right? Because they have now you take that into business, it's the same. No, I don't need to do this because I have different rules. Well, eventually the culture will erode because it erodes, fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
Think about it in a family. If the father's not leading the family in the right moral ethic code, well, the family will break down.
Crumbles.
So it's up to the father to lead the family. To,
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Lead the
yes,
family.
yes, yes.
Lead the family, and often do the things that we may not want to do.
Yeah.
You know, we tried as much as we could in our family, for example, to eat at the table. Now, I would very often get home from doing a 2-day seminar and I'd be tired and we'd be going to have dinner, and it was much easier just to sit in front of the TV and do what we want to do.
Like so.
It was up to me to say, guys, let's sit at the table. Come on, everyone around. I may not have felt like it, but if that's the culture I want in my household, then I've got to drive it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want cell phones at the table, but I was one of the worst with my cell phone. So I had to say, take your cell phone. Let's put it in the basket. No cell phones until we finish dinner. My little voice was going, shit, I need to get all this Suli and I need to do this. But that's the culture I wanted in my household because I wanted us to communicate without this stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to drive it. Even if I didn't want to, if I wanted
Do you want it to be on your phone?
100%.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting on my phone and I say, hey, put your phone away. Well, my girls would say, well, what about you, Dad? Well, don't argue with me.
Yeah.
What am I saying? I'm saying, well, actually, the rules don't mean anything because they're not important for me, but I'm just getting you to do what you
Some
think.
dictating rules.
100%. You know? So it's that, I mean, why have I had such a focus over the last 20 years of trying to maintain fit, lose weight, not be fat?
Why?
Yes.
Oh, because I mean, if you're gonna get up on stage and teach about discipline, and you're gonna teach people how to be and live, and you're not doing the same
100%.
thing, you're not.
Well, if I'm going to teach
real.
discipline and mindset, and I weigh 125 kgs and I'm 40 kgs overweight, and I can hardly breathe on stage and I can't move, and I'm saying you need to be disciplined, and people are looking at me going,
What are you talking?
but you can't discipline yourself.
Yeah.
It's incongruent. And in that room, I'm leading the room. People come into the event to learn. And does it mean that over my life I've always been friggin' supremely trim fit? No. However, my rules allow
Pull you back.
Pull me back.
Yeah.
But when I do put on weight, I'm going, stuff that. You can't operate like this. You've got to pull yourself back in because and does that make sense? And that's the culture.
Yeah.
So people, and it also allows my team to say, dude, you're getting fat. What are you doing? You know that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I run a 5-day program.
Oh, yeah.
That 5-day program, part of that 5-day program is health and fitness.
Yep.
Well, if I go to the 5-day program and I can't do burpees and I can't move, but I'm saying to all my delegates, you have to be fit and you have to be healthy, and I'm, well,
What are you talking about?
well, it just doesn't friggin' tie up. They'll go, oh, well, he's the trainer. So that's, you know why one of the things in teaching and training gets such a bad name? Because people have that saying, you teach what you don't do. I refuse to be that person. I refuse to be that person. So I'm going to teach what I do. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so like that whole thing of those who can't do teach.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so great. But that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now you take that back into business and leadership. If you are a leader in business, you should be the one above everybody else who upholds your values, who upholds your code of honor, who upholds your culture. Because if you can't do it, well, why the heck do you expect everyone else to do it? It's not congruent. Those behaviors, change your culture, change what you expect.
The thing is, I'll say this for myself, but I've also seen the difference that it has on like our team. So when you going full tilt, for me, it's hard to look at you going full tilt and I'm not going full tilt. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yes, this guy is going, he's traveling, he's this, he's that, and he's still preparing for the Ironman, and he's still doing all these things. And I'm like, yeah, what am I doing, right? And why I love that is because it then allows, because I can see it. I can see somebody owning our values, not just talking about them, owning it and going, this is what we're doing and this is where we're going, which then pushes me to go, okay, cool, this is what we're doing and this is where we're going.
So in that case, can I sit down with you and say, Sue, you need to look at your health, but
Yeah.
what? Because well, I've earned the right to
Yeah.
because you've seen me pursue that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I mean, it's happened. How many times has it happened? It's happened countless times where you're like, dude, what's going on here? Like,
Correct.
I can see that you're bigger than you're bigger than you were 2 months ago. What's going on? What's happening?
Where you at?
Yeah, and it will even be like a thing of maybe you just need to go to processing for a bit, and then you'll be able to
Correct.
get
Sort your mind out, get sorted out,
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah,
But you have the ability to say that to me as well.
for sure.
But because of the culture that we have. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
so I think it goes back to that. People think because they're in a position of authority, the rules don't apply to them. You know, I'm the boss. I do whatever I want, but you must do. No problem. That's how you want to run it. I don't think that's in all our events, we have rules in the room.
Yes.
Do I play by the rules in the room?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My phone goes off. I pay a fine.
Yeah.
I'm late. I pay a fine.
Yeah.
I play by the rules.
All the time. All
So,
the time.
and when I can change the rules, but when I change the rules, I play by the new rules. And everyone else plays by the rules. Because if my cell phone kept going off, but I demand that everyone else pays, they're going to say, stuff you, man.
Yeah, you'll break
So-
the room.
And it's a simple example of culture. But eventually, no cell phones go off in the room. No one's worried about cell phones. They go put them all away. I don't know. And we get very focused on what's happening.
Lock in.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is the responsibility of a leader. You know, you can take that into all areas of life. And I'm not saying we don't drop the ball and don't make a mistake, but then own it.
Part of it, yeah. Actually, that's the main thing, right? It's about dropping the ball.
Then own it. I stuffed up, own it, be responsible, move on, and get better.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll give the example of like one of our to-dos. When we put consequences of not doing your to-dos, right? 80% you pay 100, below
Yeah.
40% you pay 500.
Yeah.
And I paid 100 words. I owned it. I think that was the most important thing. Paying the money wasn't the problem.
No.
That was fine. Going below 80% was the problem.
Yeah.
But then owning it and going, guys, this is what it
But a
is.
year ago, you wouldn't have given a.
Hell no.
10 years ago, you wouldn't have given a. In fact, you just wouldn't have come to the meeting.
Oh no, I would have missed. If I didn't do my to-dos, I would have not come. I would
No, when you didn't do your.
when I didn't do my
to
to-dos.
the meeting.
Yeah. Whereas now it was like, all right, look, I didn't do my to-dos. Here's my $100. Let's revert.
But the reality is you owned it.
Yeah. Nobody had to ask me.
What happened? The following week you did 100%?
Yeah.
Because you were like, stop that. I'm not going back
You
again.
should again.
So, how can I drive you on doing your to-dos?
Hold me accountable to them. But also you
why?
got to do yours.
How often over this year,
Yeah.
how many times have I missed the 90% mark? Or the 80% mark, which is
Oh no, you haven't missed.
I don't miss the 80% mark.
No.
So because and it's not, I'm not saying this because I'm some friggin' hero. I'm saying it because I commit.
Yeah,
Because if I want my whole team to have a minimum 80%, how can I expect you to do that when I'm doing 50%?
Yeah, and I think that's what leadership is, right? Like for me, the way that I would view leadership, and like when we speak about sports and when you look at great captains, they're the guys who leave it all on the field.
So I met a guy through Robert Kiyosaki. Rod Smith. Rod Smith played American football.
Okay.
And I think he played, if I'm right, there, use your friend. Go. How many seasons uninterrupted did Rod Smith play AFL?
AFL or NFL?
Oh, NFL. NFL.
Did Rod Smith play
It's a big word. Unexpected.
Don't use these words, Barry. Rod Smith, the former Broncos wide receiver.
12.
12.
12?
Whoa.
12 uninterrupted seasons, and I think he captained the Broncos for 8.
But this is a crazy part. He went undrafted in 1994, but
Yes.
signed with the Denver Broncos in 95 and played every season until his retirement
Yes.
in 2006. From undrafted to playing 12 seasons.
Andy Caffrey, I think he captained them for 8. Okay?
That's
Why?
I don't know that.
You know what he said?
What?
When you were a junior player, you had to go to preseason training. When you became a senior player, it was optional. He never missed preseason training, even when he was captain. He never had to go, but he went. Why? Because that was the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. What happens is people get too bigger than the game. I don't need to do that. I have a title. I don't need to hold the rules of the road. I'm the best salesman. I don't have to come to meetings. I don't have to hand in my reports. Everyone else has all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it degrades the context of the business, and eventually the cracks appear and everything starts leaking. He's a wonderful guy. I spent 2 days with him in a course that we did with Robert Kiyosaki in Phoenix, and actually played the cash flow game with Ron.
Wait, actually, I saw a clip, I think, and he was speaking on. I think he was really one of the big advocates around
One of the
NFL players.
One of the video games on AYFG that we used to use.
Yes.
Yes,
One
that's
of
right.
the guy,
That's right.
like he speaks a lot about NFL players blowing their.
He used to sit at the back of the bus with his purple Rich Dad Poor Dad book and read it.
Man,
That's Rod Smith.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, you go, he was prepared to do what was needed to be done, and that's why he was a leader. Now, how many times in business and that don't people do that? Because I don't have to be there. No, it doesn't matter whether you have to be there or not. It's what is the right thing to do, and how do you want your team to behave?
Yeah.
Yeah, does that make sense?
100%.
So that's why, like, you go to a 5-day program. There's nothing in the 5-day program that I teach that I won't do.
No.
There's nothing in the sales explosion program that I teach that I won't do.
No. Yeah, I mean, on the 5 days, it's not like you sneaking salt and sugar.
No. So
You're in with it. With everybody, gelled in the game together.
I don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
Because no one would know, but 2, because that lacks integrity. So as a leader, when you have a set of rules, do you have the integrity to play by the rules?
Oof.
Because when you do, your team knows what you do, even if you don't think they do. They know what you do. There are more things that are known in teams than people think.
That's a good place to end. And if we don't end, we will do this for the next 2 hours. Let's smash it. If I say so myself, this was a great episode. Thank you, Barry, for your time, for your efforts.
Thank you, bud.
Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe. We're still sitting on 85% of our viewership are not subscribed. I don't know why you guys don't want to subscribe. We're not going to send you anything. You're just going to become a subscriber, and then you'll get our content. That's it. You watch the podcast. Done.
There we go.
That's all we need.
Just subscribe.
Just subscribe. Thanks, guys. See you next week. It's been the Uncovering Greatness podcast. Be awesome.